Hi guys, welcome to APOD Gaming Academy. In this series, I want to share my knowledge as a graphic designer and gaming content creator with you guys. In this video, I will show you how you can make this kind of thumbnail using the free software GIMP. My name is Daniel, and I will be your host. Alright, I'm gonna try to make this as simple and understandable as possible so most of you can follow along. GIMP, this free image editor, can be downloaded from gimp.org or installed directly from the Microsoft Store. And that would be the version I'm gonna use in this video. For this thumbnail I'm gonna make, I use one screenshot from League of Legends with the character that we're gonna mask out, two free background images from Pixabay, and the GIMP logotype. Here we are in GIMP. Let's start with making a new image. I'm setting the width to 1920 and the height to 1080. And of course, we're gonna save this as. We don't want to be like the noob we saw on Reddit the other day, losing all the job and effort because being an idiot. Here at APOD Gaming Academy, we are smart and got loads of brain juice. Okay, so now we're gonna drag in the first background image. We're gonna make this image grayscale by using saturation. We find this option in the menu under Colors. Here we just set the scale down to 0. The reason to make the image grayscale is that setting the colors using Colorize makes more sense and give better control over the values. So next up, we're gonna add Colorize to the image. This option is also found in the Colors menu. Here we can directly select a color. Let's go for magenta. We can see that the intensity of the colors get just right because we're using this on a grayscale image. We can adjust the saturation and lightness here using those sliders. Wow, they call it lightness, don't they? So acceptance is apparently a thing here. Alright, that was saturation and Colorize for you guys. Let's drag in the screenshot with our character and learn about masking. The idea here is to use the fuzzy select tool to create a selection around our character and from that make a mask. This will help us to make a sloppy mask but fast. A mask that we will have to refine for a good result. After selecting the tool, we got some checkboxes we want to have checked. At this time, I have checked anti-aliasing, feather edges, select transparent area, and the important one, draw mask. Now we simply click and hold left mouse button outside our character and drag the mouse to the sides. This will highlight the area we will add to our selection. As you can see, the complete surroundings is not highlighted and selected in one go. This means we need to hold Shift and do this again to add more of the surrounding to our selection. Holding Ctrl would subtract from the selection. I simply repeat this until most of the area around the character is selected. Don't worry about the details yet, we will refine the mask when it is created. Now, when we got a selection around our character, we're gonna right-click on the layer and select Add Layer Mask. Here, we want to make sure we are creating the mask based on our selection. Since we actually selected the area around our character, we need to have Invert Mask selected. Now, we got a sloppy made layer mask and we need to refine it. We got areas on our character that we need to bring back from the mask, and we got areas around the character that needs to be added into the mask. We're gonna tackle those issues by using the paintbrush and paint on the layer mask with black or white. Black adds to the layer mask, and white subtracts from it. When we have selected the Paintbrush tool, we got a few parameters to have in mind. The important ones are the size of the brush, spacing, I recommend having it to 0, and hardness. This variable affects the edge on the brush and make it more precise or gives a feather edge to it. I recommend you to spend some time here and testing those values out. So, make sure you selected the layer mask so you don't paint over the actual image. Let me zoom in a bit. Here I'm painting with white to subtract the area over the character's legs. Now the legs are back and I switch the color from white to black so I can fix the edges. This is where you want to try different hardness to the brush so you get the edge just right. If you hold the Alt key, right mouse button and move the cursor to the sides, you can quickly adjust the brush size. To move the image around the screen, you can just hold down spacebar while moving the mouse. Here I'm altering between painting with black and white to add or subtract from the layer mask. Okay, so let's have a quick look on how we can use the brush hardness to tackle this blue shiny part. Lowering the hardness value adds to the feather effect of the brush edge. To tackle the narrow bits of the image, we need to zoom in and adjust the brush size. Patience is key here, and you decide yourself how picky you must be to reach your desired result. Next, I'm gonna show you how you can use a dark gray background to enhance the visibility while working on masking. First, I will create a new layer under the character's layer. Let's call it Check Transparency. Make sure the mode is set to normal. Then we select the bucket fill tool, pick a dark gray color, and simply click on the new empty layer to fill it. Now we can see that we got more job to do on our layer mask. Simply select the layer mask and keep painting with black to mask out all the spills that we can see is breaking through. So that has to do. Let's remove the layer with the gray color on it. Now we're gonna flip the character. I want her to be on the right side of the image, facing inwards. With the layer selected, I go to Layer in the menu and down to Transform. Here I can click on Flip Horizontally. Look at that! Amazing what we can do in GIMP. Next, we're gonna put the character in a group and add outlines. For the first outline, a black outline, we're gonna work with selections. To make sure that we can actually see the selections, click on View in the menu and see if Show Selection is checked. Now we can right-click on the character's layer and select Masks to Selection. This will create a selection based on the mask around the character. Hopefully this makes sense to you guys. From here, we're gonna scale up the selection a bit. To do that, we can go to Select in the menu and choose Grow. For this image, with its resolution, I will go for 6 pixels. Next, we need to create another layer. I call this one Outline Black and make sure the mode is set to normal. Now I can use the bucket fill tool. I use it several times since there is a bit of a feather on our selection. That is because we got a bit of feather on the mask that we used to create the selection with. Then we're gonna drag the outline layer under the character layer and voila, we got ourselves a black outline. It's pretty, isn't it? Now we're gonna add a white outline using Drop Shadow Filter as the method. This works when the image or layer that we apply the filter to got a sharp edge. With the black outline layer selected, we can click on Filters in the menu. From here we go down to Light and Shadow and select Drop Shadow. First off, we want the color to be white. Then we're gonna set the X and Y axis to 0, blur radius to 0, opacity to 1, and growth radius to whatever thickness of the outline that we want, in this case 7. Now it is time to scale and repositioning our character. To do this the easy way, we're gonna place the character and the outline layer in a group. Making it this way makes it so we can keep working with the layers later on if we need to. To create a new layer, we simply click on this icon, and then we can drag and rearrange our character and outline layer in this group layer. Now we can scale this group. With the group selected, we click on the Scale tool. Now we can click and drag with the mouse to scale. When we are happy, we can press the Enter key or select another tool. Then we wait for a few seconds for the calculations to be made. To move the character and the group to a better position, we click on the Move tool and make sure Move the selected layer is checked. Let's move her a bit to the right for now. When the second panel is in place, we will scale and repositioning her again. An easy way to make the image pop a little bit is to adjust the color levels. We will find the Levels option under the Colors menu. If you got a big and demanding image, it can take a while before the input levels appear. When they do, you can drag the black and white inputs towards the curve. Make sure you got preview checked so you can see the results. Now we're gonna add another panel to the thumbnail and work with gradient and blending mode. First, I drag this metal-like background to the project and place it under the character group layer. I will place the gradient color on a layer of its own, so I create a new layer that I will call Gradient Color and make sure that the mode is set to Overlay this time. This can be set as we create the layer or changed here in the menu above the layers. Now we select the Gradient Fill tool. If you can't see it, long press on the Fill Bucket tool. Here I will just pick the custom color palette and then drag a line on the canvas. From here I can click on the starting point and select the color I want, dark blue in this case. Then I do the same for the midsection, it's gonna be lighter blue, and the end point another dark blue. Since we are nothing but professionals here, we're gonna place the gradient and the metal background layer in a group. This makes it so we can add one layer mask to all the layers in this group. Brilliant, isn't it? Now we will make another layer mask based on a selection. So, with the new panel group selected, I click on the Free Select tool, and by just click with the left mouse button, I make a shape around the panel. When I'm happy, I close the selection, then I right-click on the group and choose Add Layer Mask. This time I don't want to have inverted mask checked. Now, when I got the panels done and divided, I want to scale and reposition the character so she reach over the line. So I'm gonna select the layer and scale it up a bit. Now I wanna make a line over the two backgrounds that will help creating some depth and boost the graphical appeal a bit. I will create this line using the Paintbrush tool. First, I make a new layer for the line. Make sure to set mode to normal. Then I select the Paintbrush tool. I make sure I got the right color, the correct brush width, and I make sure the hardness is set to 100 since I want a sharp line. Now I'm gonna click once with the left mouse button where I want the line to start. Then I hold Shift and click where I want the line to end. To add some depth to this line, I will apply the Drop Shadow filter. So I click on Filters in the menu, go down to Light and Shadow, and select Drop Shadow. I set the X and Y axis to 0, the blur radius to 6, since I want a feather effect this time. Opacity gonna go all the way up to 1, since I want the effect to be distinct close to the line. And finally I set the growth radius to 10, since that size looks decent to me. And of course, let's move the divider line layer under the character group. Look at that. Alright, it starts to look like a thumbnail. We're almost done. Let's add some text. First, I create a new group to hold the text layers. From here, I click on the text tool and simply left-click on the canvas and type my text, "Make this." I double-click on the word "this," makes it bigger, and select another color for this word. I'm gonna move it a bit upwards for the moment using the Move tool. From here, I repeat the process. This time I type the word thumbnail. This one I want to scale up by using the Scale tool. Then we're gonna do it one more time. I select the text tool, write the words in GIMP, select GIMP, make it bigger, and change the color. I put it in place and adjust the scale. Now we can select the text group layer, scale that up to the preferred size, use the Move tool to position the group in place. To make the text pop a little bit, give it some visibility, we can give it an outline using the Drop Shadow filter. The last thing I'm gonna do is to brand the thumbnail, so I'm gonna drag in the GIMP logo image and call it done. Alright, that's it for this tutorial. If you found it helpful, you know what to do to be awesome. Until next time, you stay safe. Oh no, I forgot I need this big black microphone in my face.